Hello and welcome to this new series of videos that I'm starting. I've decided that in addition to my retrospectives, I'm also going to review new releases at the end of every month to show you what I've been enjoying recently. So let's begin. I'm a huge fan of this Portland-based band's third and fourth albums, but their last two efforts didn't impress me at all. The Hazards of Love was way too weird, and The King is Dead was way too boring. But What a Terrible World, What a Beautiful World blows them both out of the water. Despite the fact that there are a few dull acoustic tracks, pretty much everything else is top-notch. The album is super diverse, but it still has a nice pop sensibility to it, and most of the songs stayed in my head for ages. There's more of an emphasis on strong melodic hooks rather than pretentious noodling, so there isn't much of the horrible excess that plagued some of their previous records here. All in all, this is a real return to form for this fabulously inventive band. This release comes from the venerable indie pop veterans Belle Sebastian, and it's their 9th album. Admittedly, I'm not a huge expert on this band. My older brother is a much bigger fan of them than I am, but I really enjoyed Girls in Peacetime Want to Dance. This album is not a lot like their previous efforts, which were very heavy on clean jangling guitars and baroque instrumentation. This instead goes for more of a dance rock sound, with some of their more trademark elements still in there, but a little more subdued than usual. As far as dance rock goes, it's really great. The rhythms are on point, the synth lines are memorable, and the vocal harmonies are enchanting. Even if you don't enjoy the group's new sound, there are still a few songs in here that are more like the baroque leanings of yore, especially the opener, so they haven't totally parted with their signature sound. Despite all these things going for it, lengthier tracks such as Play for Today really hold Girls in Peacetime Want to Dance back. That song in particular, Play for Today, should have been trimmed down, because there's just not a lot going on in it to warrant the 7-minute runtime. Aside from that, this album manages to capture the magic that Belle Sebastian's old albums had, whilst also going into new sonic territories. After the passing of drummer John Brooks in 2013, I would have totally understood if the Charlatans wanted to call it a day, but luckily they haven't, and they've instead given us Modern Nature. Like Belle Sebastian, these chaps have also gone for a dance-oriented sound, but unlike Belle's new album, Modern Nature is a slow, spacious affair that has a beautiful hazy sound to it, with quiet vocals, hypnotic drum machines, and the trusty Charlatan staple, the Hammond organ. Despite having more slow tracks than up-tempo ones, Modern Nature is absolutely laden with soulful grooves, so it gives the impression of a band trying to rise above their loss, which is very inspiring, not to mention thoroughly enjoyable to listen to. The Charlatans' 12th album manages to be both atmospheric and catchy. We've already talked about 3 veteran bands, so now let's talk about a much younger artist, Viet Cong. I have to say, this self-titled album is everything I love rolled up into one. Crooning vocals, post-punk melodies, and a gritty, lo-fi production. It's all these things that make Viet Cong's debut a thrilling listen. The sheer creativity on show here is evident due to the constant sonic experimentation, varied song structures, and unexpected shifts in style. It never loses its excitement, not even after more than one listen. My only criticism is that I wish it was a bit longer because I want to hear more from this band. Well, that's about it for January. Bring on February, my favourite month of the year.